Seize the moment to pressure him
All
in a
right,
move that has
wonderful viewers. Welcome once again to the broadcast of today. Reaching out to you from our studio here at Ancient Edu. Welcome. It's usually a wonderful thing to be here. We are going out of scope for today to bring to you should I say an important issue that needs to be looked into, and the reason why you should be able to stand on your feet without looking for help. We are going to look into the AES, which in English really stands for the Alliance of Sahel States, which I believe in French should be something like this: Alliance de l'État de Sahel, which stands for Alliance of Sahel States. That is why it is called the AES, Alliance de l'État de Sahel. AES. Yeah. It's spearheaded by a courageous young man known as Ibrahim Traore. They have stood out for a very long time now, representing men of honor, timber, and caliber. The men that defied all odds and stood firm on their feet. And they said enough is enough to the madness that is going on in their land. And it should have been to Africa as a whole, but the rest of Africa is busy romancing corruption, because the rest of Africa is vaguely useless. They love dancing to the tune of the puppeteer, the puppet masters. When it started in the land of these men from Sahel, they were offended with what's going on. It really pissed them off. You have the French military base in their countries. You have the American military base in their countries. And yet, there is Islamic insurgents. Every day, their citizens keep dying at the hands of these Islamic bandits. France, a world power, can do nothing about it. The United States, a world power, can do nothing about it. 2 or 3 years ago, an American was kidnapped. An American was kidnapped in Niger. Within hours, American sniper team arrived. Delta Force 5 or 3. They came. Within hours, the entire terrorist network was disarmed and completely neutralized, and they took their citizen away. That means if America wants to stop these Islamic insurgents in West Africa, Sahel state including Nigeria, it will take them nothing less than 48 hours to purge every Islamic bandits away from there. That means Every Islamic insurgence, every religious killing going on in the land is well sponsored by the state and the international organizations or international communities. They sponsor them. How can you tell me that Boko Haram having the latest military rifle, the what's it called? The R5 and the R3, the same weapons the Israeli military use, the American Marine use, is the same weapon Boko Haram is using. Who gave it to them? It has caused an uproar or upsurge in the countries. And these men got offended. They had to seize power in order to save the life of their citizens. In Burkina Faso, a family can live on $10 a month. A family lives for $10 a month. In some cases, $5 a month. That is what a family survives with in Burkina Faso. But the president of Burkina Faso, basic salary for a month is $70,000. Where the citizens live for less than $10,000 a month, which obviously doesn't make sense, despite the fact that these people are impoverished. You have the Islamic insurgents killing them at the same time. You know, I never knew that Blaise Compaoré used to be the president of Burkina Faso, as at that time they lived under $5 a month. Burkinabes, under $5 a month, and his salary was $70,000 a month. Did he go there to save his people? The answer is no. He went there to enrich himself and to live like a royal. As a dog, a lapdog to France and the Western world. France in particular. Which is a shame. So when this man rose up to call of action or duty, they seized power today. Their citizens are happy because the Islamic insurgents are being crushed even as we speak right now. They are powerless. They are more of toothless bulldogs in that region. And these young men are giving life back to their citizens. When they launched their attack and took over the government, immediately ECOWAS, the evil ECOWAS, suspended them from the ECOWAS Union or ECOWAS cocoon, ECOWAS court, ECOWAS gathering of blood-sucking men and women. They suspended them, cut off ties. Nigeria cut off electricity. I say, look at Africans, the very useless things that God created Africans. This is ancient to do. We don't mix words here. We say it the way we should say it. Nigeria activated. They want to play the American role. We'll put sanction on them. We'll send military to go and overthrow them and restore democracy. The new name of terrorism in Africa and the globe at large is called democracy. Democracy is a new slave master. So every criminal can commit crime in the name of democracy. You can commit genocide in the name of democracy. So they prepared. Immediately, instantly, these nations came together. They prepared for war. And they said any attempt from any ECOWAS region to get into their land would be all-out war. They were fully ready for the war. So sanctions came from ECOWAS and African Union, the useless African Union that is filled with corrupt criminals. Corrupt criminals that their monthly salaries is over $70,000 or $100,000 every month, while their citizens live for $5 a month. They came out and they said they are fighting for humanity. They rolled out. This nation stood firm. They blocked, they are landlocked nations. Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Senegal, all these countries that are close to the sea, they blocked all their seaport and they said no more access to the sea. And this country survived. Morocco gave them access to the sea up north. They survived and they are thriving today. Today, their economy is the fastest growing economy in the whole of Africa. Development is taking place there. Indigenization of companies are taking place there. They pushed France out of their country. They pushed US, almighty US, they pushed them out of their countries and shut all the military bases there. And they are surviving. European Union came and said, we are going to give you money. They said, we don't want your money. European Union have done everything possible to cut them back. They said, no, they don't want. They aligned with Russia as a business partner and they are surviving. I will make a flashback of the coronavirus. No, not the coronavirus. Of the Russian-Ukraine war. When the war started in South Africa, the prices of food shot across the roof. Then they asked the question, why? They said, Ukraine is the only country in the world that produces wheat. So because of the war in Ukraine, there's no more wheat around the world, and there's no more vegetable oil around the world because it comes from Ukraine. I now ask the South African government that all the vast land in South Africa, none of you could produce edible oil, vegetable oil, none of you could produce wheat. You can see that the global world, and South Africa is a lapdog to them, that the global world is filled with demons, reptiles in the name of your leaders, evil men. How can war go on between Russia and Ukraine? Then the global food supply will run out. They say there's no place they can produce wheat in the world. But today, from nowhere, within 2 years of the leadership of Traore, Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso, Burkina Faso is ranked amongst the 5, is it 5 or 4? It should be within top 5 wheat producing nations of the world. They turned their desert land to a place they will produce wheat. They are farming and growing wheat now in Burkina Faso. Food sufficiency, food independence. South Africa, bordered by 2 oceans, 2 motherfucking oceans. The Atlantic and the Indian Ocean. Yet, they don't have food. They run to America to beg for money. They run to Europe to beg for money. A land that is very big, bordered by 2 oceans. They don't have food. They say it's only Ukraine that can give them food. Shame on black Africans. You people are despicable. Shame on black Africans. After all the storms they gave to these 3 young men, they refused. Today, the same ECOWAS is doing everything to bring them back to the fold and say, no, you need to come back to us. We need to be together. You see, this message is going for the Nigerians, for the Igbos, for these useless people called Nigerians and the Igbos. This message is for you. You don't need, and yeah, and even South Africa, don't need to depend on your oppressor for your livelihood. If you depend on your oppressor, then you are useless. You are not fit to be counted as a human. It's for the Nigerians, the Igbos, and even the South Africans. But I don't care, because these people, they are truly useless. The message means nothing to them. You know why? They say, oh, he said we are useless. We are not going to listen to him. I don't care. That's why we are sounding this way. This is a shanty. We sound this way for you not to listen, because you are truly useless. Now, they are forcing Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta, and the other one to come back to ECOWAS. Nigeria issued another warning yesterday and said they are giving them 48 hours to return back to ECOWAS, or they will face an all-out war. Nigeria Chief of Defense Staff, I've forgotten the name of that bandit, Christopher Musa, yeah. He said he's giving them 48 hours to return back, or it will be an all-out war. So to the people of Nigeria, you useless people, I advise you, the debt that is going on in Nigeria now is a child's play. When you engage these men in war, both the Boko Haram that is a problem, and the kidnappers, the organ traffickers from the Igbo land, that is a problem. You see Traore and his men, they will kill from Gog to Magog. They will end everything in Nigeria. Both the military, both the organ traffickers, both the Islamic bandits, they will end everyone, because Nigeria is a hub, the headquarters of terrorism, where bandits find a safe haven. And Nigerian media, led by Rufai Oseni and co, they are the liars that lies every day covering this evil. You see the face of this man on your screen, this particular face now, that's the face of Traore. He will come for you people. If you Nigerians like, don't caution Christopher Musa, let him go to war. What will come for you Nigerians? Wish Nigeria was never a country, because these men, they will burn everything down. They are not smiling. The video on your screen, I'll play it. Then I will also play Donald Trump expelling or sacking the South African ambassador to America. He was sent back home. They drove him away from America and said, go back to your country. And that's a good news. That's a very good news. Because the South Africans are experts to say, go back to your country. Now, America just said, come, oh boy, go back to your country. We don't need you here anymore. They sent their ambassador away. It was a good one. Do you know why? The South African ambassador to America is a spoiled brat. When you don't understand certain international debates or politics, don't put your mouth in it. You are a small boy. You know nothing. You can be 60 years old, 70 years old by age, but mental wise, you know nothing. You know nothing. The utterance that came out from his mouth about President Trump should not have come out from his mouth. Even Russia, that is a global power, there is what is called tact diplomacy in speech. They always use seasoned speech. They are careful with their words. But when you touch the black African, more especially the South Africans, they just start talking. After they finish talking shit, then they will start thinking. They usually talk before they think. How can an official ambassador of a country be driven out of that country or out of another country in a disgraceful manner. How can such a thing happen? This is a diplomatic assault and a diplomatic defeat that was handed on South Africa. It was a disgrace. To tell the ambassador, get out of this country, we don't need you anymore. Always quick to talk. Look at Traore. It's on your screen. And Traore is always careful with the way he speaks. He thinks before he says something. When they asked Ramaphosa, Ramaphosa wanted to be diplomatic, but Ramaphosa was the cause of the problem. When he said, Trump, when I see Trump, I will tell him that he's even worse. He forgot. So now the battle have started. He's trying to smile, and no, things are not done that way. If you're a public figure, there are certain things that should be said from your mouth. And if you want to go all out offensive with words, try to be like Justin Trudeau, that told Trump that Trump is dumb. But before he said that to Trump, what did he say? He built the foundation, gave a narrative of what he wanted to say. Then he now ended it with, you are dumb, Trump. People are spiking you up to come after us, and you are coming. It's a dumb thing to do. He didn't say President Trump. He said Donald. Called him by his name direct, Donald. Oh, Ramaphosa, I'm not asking you to copy what's his name? Justin Trudeau. Because you will go there, you will want to be like Justin Trudeau. You will go and mess things up. That is Africans for you, more especially the South Africans that loves to abuse. We are talking of a diplomatic shuttle, an error, a battle that is going on. We still have a man like the EFF man, what's his name, Malema, still throwing out words, not guarded words. He just throws it out like that. If such careless speech brings ripple effects, that will be a negative repercussion on South Africa, how will they handle it? Russia doesn't speak like that. Even China doesn't speak like that. Even Iran, they don't speak like that. Stop beating the drums of war when you are not even prepared. You don't even know how to fight, but you want to fight. That is my advice on South Africa. So let's go back to the Traore incident and listen to this carefully. Thank you.
Sent shockwaves across the continent. Leaders like Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso are yet another American sovereignty, despite Burkina and not resolute powers. Ivorian Saint refuses to back down. During Ghanaian President John Dramani Mahama's visit to Côte d'Ivoire on March 5, 2025, Ouattara seized the moment to pressure him into using his influence in these three nations to reconsider their bold and independent choice. This insistence borders on an obsession, one that disregards the will of every top organization they view as compromised. But why is ECOWAS so desperate to win back these three nations? Is it truly about regional unity, or is there a deeper geopolitical agenda at play? And now, with Ghana's President John Mahama stepping in, will his influence succeed where others have failed? Before we break it all down, make sure to subscribe to Africa Info Hub for in-depth analysis on Africa's most pressing issues. In the heart of West Africa, a seismic shift is unfolding, one that reverberates with the echoes of liberation and self-determination that our ancestors fought for centuries ago. Burkina Faso, Mali, and three nations of the Sahel have drawn a line in the sand about ours and particularly France. Their formation, the alliance days, is political maneuver, and a yearning from the strangled heart of the cow figures as A.I.R. In a move that has sent shockwaves, leaders like Traoré of Burkina Faso, yet another attempt nations sought firm and from ECOWAS. Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara refuses to back down. During Ghanaian President John Dramani Mahama's visit to Côte d'Ivoire on March 5, 2025, Ouattara seized the moment to pressure him into using his influence to convince these three nations to consider their bold and independent choice. This insistence borders on an obsession, one that disregards the clear will of these nations to sever ties with a regional organization they view as compromised. But why is ECOWAS so desperate to win back these three nations? Is it truly about regional unity, or is there a deeper geopolitical agenda at play? And now, with Ghana's President John Mahama stepping in, will his influence succeed where others have failed? Before we break it all down, make sure to subscribe to Africa Info Hub for in-depth analysis on Africa's most pressing issues. In the heart of West Africa, a seismic shift is unfolding, one that reverberates with the echoes of liberation and self-determination that our ancestors fought for centuries ago. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, three proud nations of the Sahel, have drawn a line in the sand, refusing to bow to the pressures of ECOWAS, an organization they have long accused of being a puppet in the hands of Western powers, particularly France. Their formation of the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, is not just a political maneuver. It is a bold declaration of independence, a rejection of neocolonial chains, and a beacon of hope for a continent yearning to break free from the stranglehold of external domination. Yet, the old guard of the ECOWAS, led by figures like Côte d'Ivoire's Alassane Ouattara, in a move that
Sorry, the network is so bad, but it is breaking off. But at least we are able to carry out the message that we wanted to put out. You can see that these three African states have already taken a bold move to assert their true independence. Look at this one on your screen. Look at them, all of them. These are all stooges. These are all slaves. Huh? That works for the slave masters. So we don't expect anything from them. Don't expect anything from them. They are all useless people. So now they want to drag them back to the fold. Okay, come back. And we are all one. The other one said, okay, come back to ECOWAS, but you can still be your alliance of Sahel states. We don't have any problem with that, but just come back to ECOWAS. But they suspended them. They cut off electricity supply to them for over a year or two. Until France told them, okay, reconnect the electricity back. But now, Ibrahim Traoré is building the first nuclear electric substation in Africa, in his country. They have the first tire manufacturing company industry in Burkina Faso, in the entire Africa. These people are making giant strides. Now they are selling their own resources and getting the money. Now imagine a country where 1 kilogram of uranium is sold for over 300 euros. They have, I think they should be the fourth largest producers of or owners of uranium in the world, if not fourth, fifth. But they are amongst the top 10. Their uranium, France will sell per kilogram for 300 euros. And France will give them 80 cents, 80 euro cents. From that 80 euro cents, France will bank 60 cents in France for them, then give them 20 cents. Can you imagine the level of wickedness coming from the Western world, from France? The level of wickedness. This has been going on for donkey years. America is like this. They don't talk. Britain is like this. They don't talk. Look at the pain and the suffering of the people of the land. These people now said, we are fed up. We want to be counted as humans. then slaves like Nigeria, South Africa, natural born slaves, useless people. They now rose up, carried guns that they are going there to forestall a new slave master, which is called democracy. The people of Burkina Faso now can feed 3 times a day because of this man you are seeing on the screen. So now, your African politicians, they say no, they don't want that thing. They should go back to the barracks. But in their own countries, there is suffering going on inside their own countries. Huh? Malawi, that Hastings Kamuzu Banda have destroyed before he died. Malawi people, they look like cockroaches everywhere. They can't feed. But Malawi can send soldiers to go to Congo and fight for the corrupt political class of Congo. Africans, you people are shameless. I don't blame Trump for dealing with Africans this way. If the entire Africa can be like Ancient Idu or Ibrahim Traore and others that stand firm like Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and co, I believe that America will always be on their knees respecting Africans. But when you see the Africans speak, when you see them come out with big title, Doctor of Foolishness, Engineer of Foolishness, and so on, that they backed from top universities such as Harvard, they go back home and their country become a mess. Why I said that is because Hastings Kamuzu Banda was a trained medical doctor in London. He went back home, fought for the independence of Malawi, got it and destroyed the country. Every day having wives and children every corner. Africans. Education is an abomination, a taboo in natural Africa. But to the true Idu, descendants of the land, such as Traore and co, which are true descendants of Idu, they realize the greatness that is in them. Look at the strides Burkina Faso is achieving. How many African countries today can achieve such? South Africa is talking. They don't even have military. They don't have military. South Africa doesn't have military. And they want to wage war with Burkina Faso. To be the end. In fact, it will be the beginning. Look at the 3 of them. To be the beginning of the end of any country that attempts to wage war with the Sahel states. So with that, we have come to the end of this particular submission of the Alliance of Sahel States. So we are going to take our attention and focus it on this other side here. This one. This is the warning, that the message that Trump fired against South Africa that I narrated from the beginning of this program. The throwing away of the South African ambassador to the United States. How he was chased out like a small school boy. Is that not a disgrace? It's a shame. It's a shame. So, you all will have to listen to it and hear what actually happened to an official ambassador of South Africa to the United States, how he was disgraced out of the country. It's a shame. So, we are going to play this one now for you to listen to. Then, after that, we'll wrap up the program.
Openly racist ownership laws. Land ownership. The United States is expelling South Africa's ambassador to Washington, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Friday, accusing the envoy of hating the country and President Donald Trump. South Africa's ambassador to the United States is no longer welcome in our great country, Rubio posted on X. Ebrahim Rasool is a race-baiting politician who hates America and hates at POTUS, he said, referring to Trump by his White House X account. We have nothing to discuss with him and so he is considered persona non grata. The expulsion is the latest development in rising tensions between Washington and Pretoria. Trump in February froze U.S. aid to South Africa, citing a law in the country that he alleges allows land to be seized from white farmers. One of Trump's closest allies is South African-born billionaire Elon Musk, who has accused South African President Cyril Ramaphosa's government of having openly racist ownership laws. Land ownership is a contentious issue in South Africa, with most farmland still owned by white people 3 decades after the end of apartheid and the government under pressure to implement reforms. During a G20 event in South Africa last month, Ramaphosa said he had a wonderful call with Trump soon after the US leader took office in January. But relations later seemed to go a little bit off the rails, he said. The United States is expelling South Africa's ambassador to Washington, Secretary.
Yeah, you all heard that. He was considered persona non grata. Get out of our country. A direct blow. Direct blow. And I dare South Africans to do the same to the American ambassador to South Africa. They are spineless. They will never do it. But I trust one man, Sani Abacha. The moment you declare Nigerian ambassador to America persona non grata, that day he will declare, including the dogs that are stationed at the American embassy in Nigeria, persona non grata. The ambassador and every diplomat will be removed from Nigeria that same day. And if they do the same to the ambassador of Burkina Faso, I'm sure Traore will do it immediately. But South Africa, they will never do it. They will never ever do it. But they have strength to attack their fellow black brothers and sisters. So whatever is good enough for the kids is equally good enough for the Gandans. America, they don't waste time. Trump doesn't waste time. He takes action. And Sani Abacha doesn't waste time. He takes action. Because they tried it. Britain tried it. Well, how did Abacha respond? He sent away every diplomat from Britain, including the ambassador, then seized like 2 or 3 British Airways, their aircraft, seized it in Lagos, Nigeria, grounded it there. Anything that wants to happen, let it happen. But today, do we have such people in Nigeria? We don't. We have criminals everywhere. Criminals everywhere. Corrupt entities. That's what we have. The rise of greatness is not far from us. And as individuals, we will always rise up back to our feet again and do that which is needed to be done, as Traore is leading the way right now. So shall it be. With this, we have come to the end of the broadcast of today. So the takeaway from this broadcast is never let yourself down. Even if the world rejects you, do not reject yourself. Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Keita, and the other presidents from the Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, they have proven that they rose to their feet according to Dr. Dre. Subscribe to this channel and follow for more. Okay, don't forget. According to Dr. Dre said he's always close to the heat, and when he's close to the heat, and when he's close to defeat, he rises back on his feet. Those men, they were by the side of the heat, and when they noticed that they were close to defeat, they had to rise up back on their feet And that is why they are men. Any part of the world they go, they don't care. They wear their military regalia. They go there and attend the meeting. And they speak better than the politicians that comes out on suit. So, the real criminals are those that put on suits. They put on a suit, a jacket, and they wear the tie. That is the modern day thief. And the politicians of this world today, men in black, men in suits, they are all criminals. They don't care about their citizens. How can you be a president? Your salary per month is $70,000. And your citizens, they live under $10, under $5 a month. And you are a president. It's a shame. Thank you, Ibrahim Traore. Thank you for the marvelous work that you're doing. And we from Ancient Idu, we appreciate you. And we say keep it up. Never ever back down. Never ever join the ECOWAS. Whatsoever ECOWAS wants to do, let them go ahead and do it. Let them stop threatening war as Ramaphosa threatened Rwanda. Hey, Paul Kigami, if you touch our soldiers again, we'll warn the whole of Rwanda. Kigami laughed and said, Ramaphosa, you should expel your troops from the Congo, or else we will bring the war to you. How did it end in the Congo? Every South African troop has been removed from the Congo. So who laughed last and who is more serious about fighting a war? Kigami is more serious. He is a warrior. He's more serious. Ramaphosa is just a journalist. They like talking. They don't have any action. Thank you, my viewers. Subscribe to this channel and follow for more. We'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.